Hi!
Hello!
Welcome back to Bible Basics. This week we're talking about testaments.
Oh yeah.
So, you often hear in the Bible, don't you? You often hear it referred to the Old Testament and New Testament.
Yeah, that's right.
Now, Old Testament is actually going by a different name these days, isn't it?
Oh, is it?
Yeah, no, for
Whoa,
real, right?
no way.
So, obviously, it's still called the Old Testament, but a lot of times people are trying to use the phrase Hebrew Scriptures or Hebrew Bible.
Oh, okay.
Which is really interesting because I think one thing I always used to forget is that Jesus read the Bible. Like the Hebrew Scriptures, the Old Testament, the first 46 books of the Bible,
Yeah.
Jesus read them, Jesus knew them, Jesus studied them, they were around before he was.
Yeah,
And then the other 27 books in the New Testament is everything that happened afterwards.
pretty much.
Which is so. But why are the two bits? What's that mean?
Well, because the first bit is like kind of the pre-Jesus stuff, as you were kind of
Yeah,
saying.
yeah.
So Jesus would have known it. He'd have known it so well that if you'd have given him a reference, check out our other video if you want to know how to do references. He'd have just been able to tell you what that reference was
Mad
off
skills.
the top of his head.
Mad
And that
skills.
wasn't just Jesus, just because he was the Son of God. This was like
That was the norm, wasn't it?
That was just the normal Jewish
Yeah,
culture.
yeah.
The New Testament, as you're saying, is like all this post-Jesus. Well, it is the Jesus bit and then the post-Jesus bit.
Yeah.
And the reason it's split into two is because this New Testament is the new deal that God has made with his people.
Yeah, and that's the thing. The new bit and the old bit are actually all the same bit because they all link to each other.
Yeah.
So you hear about Jesus being prophesied in Isaiah in the Hebrew Scriptures, and then you
Yeah.
hear about Jesus quoting Isaiah in the temple in the New Testament, and so there are loads of parallels. In fact, if you're super geeky and want to check out a couple of websites, you can actually see all of the cross-references in the Bible, and it
Whoa.
will blow your mind. The New Testament is the kind of revelation of all the promises made in the Old Testament.
It's just fulfilling it all.
Yeah, exactly. And you said you'd tell me something about testament. The word testament.
Testament is covenant. So not where nuns live, that's a convent. Covenant, old covenant, and new covenant. So what we're saying is the Old Testament is all the old promises that God made with his people. And then the New Testament is Jesus coming and fulfilling those promises and saying this is the new one. Love one another, basically.
Mad skills. Hebrew Scriptures, Old Testament, New Testament, the Bible.
Beautiful. See you soon.